Alright, today I'm re-reviewing the Ibanez JCustom RG8570Z. Is it still good? Do I still play it? How has it held up over the last few years? Today I'm going to be reviewing, discussing, and demoing this guitar. I'll give an update, I'll talk about the high and low points. Of course, I'll have a full mix demo at the end of the video, but I'll be demoing the tones throughout. And by the way, this video is not sponsored. First, let's talk about the fit, finish, and feel. Now, I know more recent models of this guitar have the low pro bridge in it, but this has the ZR2 bridge, which is okay. This is a good enough guitar that it isn't quite worth going through the trouble of selling it just to get a low pro version, even though the low pro is my favorite bridge. It is an amazing guitar even after all these years. I haven't had to set it up too many times over the years of owning it, but whenever I do, the truss rod is very responsive. No issues, no neck woods getting stuck, nothing like that. I have gotten better at setting up guitars over the years. So some of the setups that I've had to do haven't just been seasonal, it's been me fixing my own mistakes. In terms of playability, this guitar still plays the best. The ultra thin neck has given me some problems in the past, and since then, since thinking about that, my technique has gotten a little better, just a little bit. So the thinness of the neck doesn't bother my hand that much anymore. I still wouldn't grab this guitar for long recording sessions. It is my fastest playing guitar, it has my thinnest neck, so if I was going to do some super fast scale runs, this is probably what I'd grab. But if the whole song was just tread all the time, I might consider some other guitar. I do think this guitar objectively plays better than my Prestiges. That being said, I also think having a Prestige is better value. You'll get a guitar that plays nearly as good, and you'll still have the budget for other things. Is it twice as good as a Prestige half the price? I would say almost. My opinion of this has improved a little bit. It has held up. There's been no problems again with the truss rod. The setups have remained strong. It's been a pretty stable guitar, even though it doesn't have the roasted maple neck. It feels quality. Is this guitar 3 times as good as the RG550 Genesis? And again, I'm talking about the Genesis here, the new version, not the 80s, 90s version. I would say almost, but we are kind of comparing apples to oranges here. The Genesis being a cheaper guitar, it's not a Prestige, but it is made in Japan. And those guitars, I feel like I wouldn't feel as guilty beating them up. Playing them live, taking them places, them getting bumped during band practice, things like that. Of course, there is the difference where this has the all-axis neck joint and the Genesis has the square neck joint. And discussing the differences between the two are kind of out of the scope of this video. So let's move on to the controls here. The 5-way switch is still just as good as it was before. There's been no problems with the potentiometers. They're still nice to turn. The tone doesn't get accidentally turned down at all. The volume has no problems. It's not scratchy. Overall, I've been very pleased with how this has held up. Now, what are my thoughts on the sound of this guitar, the tones you can get out of it? I'd say they've also improved over time, and maybe it's because I'm getting a little bit older, who knows. But I love the active pickups and the fancy boutique modern voiced pickups just as much as the next metal guy. But the Tone Zone Air Norton with the True Velvet in the middle, this whole combination really has been growing on me. Over the past few years, I mean. They are very nice all around pickups. You get pretty good humbucker tones from the neck and the bridge. They're not exactly low output pickups, but they don't have the high output compression kind of feel you get from the actives. And they're not ultra modern voiced. So I feel like they're more versatile and they're more forgiving in a lot of situations. In terms of the pickup layout, I've really been enjoying HH guitars, but the HSH is pretty nice. I tend to go through phases of liking the 2 humbuckers, then HS, and then coming back to HSH before going to HH again. And I think if I was speccing out a custom guitar, I would have a 5-way switch with 2 humbuckers, with position 2 being the outer coils and position 4 being the inner coils. But position 2 and 4 on this scratch the itch well enough for the times when I want those tones. So I think these pickups give solid tones overall. They're not as exciting or salient as the active pickups, but I find if you're the kind of person who changes your plugin or amp settings on the quest to get more tones, different tones, having a good solid bass is very helpful, having a pickup that isn't too specialized. And I am the kind of person to adjust settings every now and then. For almost every song or video, I do change the preset settings and save them and update them. So some overall thoughts. Question number 1, why have I not played this guitar more and featured it in more videos? The answer is it feels too nice. In my opinion, it looks pretty good. It feels quality. So I would really hate to put playing wear on it for quote unquote no reason. Playing something like the 550 Genesis, for example, I don't mind if the pickguard gets scratched up or whatever. But on this, if the finish here got all scratched up and the finish wore away, that would be kind of devastating. If I'm going to be going somewhere, I'll just take my beat up RG8570Z. That thing has dings and chips in the paint already. What's a few more? If I need something high quality for a long recording session, I'll pick up the Pia. That has a slightly thicker neck, it's a bit more comfortable to play, it has a pickguard on it. And my Prestige guitars play really well too. And those won't be as devastating to put play wear on. This is one of those guitars where as an Ibanez fan you want to have it, but you also don't want to ruin it. It's also possible to feel a lot of pressure playing this guitar. It does play better than basically everything I have. It's on par with the Pia. But just like the Pia, for everyone who knows what the guitar is, they're going to heavily judge you. Which is crazy because we're all human. A mistake is inevitable at some point. Granted, these are the types of people who are judging you, who are looking for any little thing to knock you on. So if you have enough experience with people, it really doesn't matter. But if you're the kind of person to be sensitive to other people's opinions, that's something to keep in mind. Beyond that, the angled output jack, as you can see right here, is still pretty annoying if you're trying to sit all classical style. Standing up, it's fine, but I always wrap the cable around between the body and the strap anyway. So for me, it's not really the most useful feature. And then final thoughts. I don't think you necessarily need to shred on this guitar to have a good time. It is unmatched when it comes to that kind of thing. But it sounds great and is nice and easy to play if you're just playing power chords or clean chords. Maybe you're holding a chord and ringing out some arpeggios. It's nice to play slow too. But what do you think? Do you think the J.Custom is worth it? Would you feel pressured to only shred on a guitar like this? Or would it allow you to fully realize all of your creative ideas? Let me know in the comments down below. You know, this is YouTube, so I have to say the YouTube things. Be sure to like the video, comment, share it, print out every frame and mail it, check out the Discord, join the Patreon, do a backflip, and as always, peace.